welcome. This is Erica Glessing, and my show today is a tribute to the late Dr. Martin Luther King. I invited a channel whose name is Deanna Swaim to invite the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to give us messages, any messages that could help us on the planet at this time. And so today's episode goes over, I know it just could not be contained to a regular show. I'm going to air the whole thing though, because it was such a beautiful recording. And I believe that the messages of peace and the messages of unity are needed now on the planet more than ever before. So enjoy this recording, see what it does for you. And hey, if any of the messages really touch you, I encourage you to share them. Just share the messages on your own social media, or share the messages with your friends and fam. You know, just see if what he lived for and what he believed in can be made to live again, and beyond that, and beyond that, and beyond that. So thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great time listening. Let me know what you think.
I'd like to thank you for letting me be here. And this is a very different world that I come to.
Thank you
from
so
the one
much.
that I left. And I see much movement has occurred since my time here.
Yes, we had Obama president.
Indeed. And I am very delighted, and there are many delighted on this side that was possible. And it was not me alone that paved the way. There were many that paved the way during that time, that movement. And unfortunately, we can see that the timing was not ready, that I was assassinated as I was at that moment in time, was the resistance, the pushing back, the desire to not be united. And now we see that the desire to be united is becoming fulfilled. More are being united than the dissension that was occurring at the time. At that time, there were many groups that were divided, and many sects that were divided. It was as if the United States was not only divided in states, but in groups of people. And that is changing. That has changed. That movement, that transition has occurred. And so now we see that there are many more groups that are uniting in larger degree. And that is a spiritual movement. It always is spirit that moves. It is not the physical that makes the movements. We see that it is the spiritual that starts that movement. And then it goes through the spiritual to the physical, and becomes available to the consciousness of the individual. And so we see many individuals moving now more toward unity, and that is a step towards peace. And that was the goal, and the intention was always that there be peace, not only for those of color, but for the entire, for all of the United States and the world at large.
So when I was looking at the election recently, I was perceiving resistance again, like backlash, contraction after so much expansion.
Yes. This is a natural progression of growth. As we see that growth goes forward, and then perhaps back, a few steps back, and then again forward. And so when we see this backward movement, we can know that there will be a greater forward movement.
Interesting. So it pushes back, and then this will generate even larger forward movement being possible?
It brings the awareness of those who are pushing back, who want to hang on to that non-unity, non-peace. It brings that even more to their awareness as the consequences of moving back become extreme. It becomes more obvious or apparent to individuals that that is not the way. And so then there is a greater leap forward as more are joining to move forward.
What can a person do in a day? I'm a person, I wake up, I go to work or talk to 10 people in a day. What can I do to affect peace? Like, what are, for people that would love to really be a bigger part of this peace, what's showing up for you now that you have kind of a different viewpoint?
Just, it always is with the individual. And so each day that you hold peace within yourself and you extend that to those that you have contact with, and follow that which is in your truth that extends from your peace, whatever you see in the world that day, whatever comes to you that day. For example, if you see dissension and you have a gift or an intuition and are following that trail or line of peace and extending that to that situation, that assists that situation in healing and peace. So it is every day staying in that peace and extending it in your own life and in whatever way you feel is authentic to you. And if each person does this, we see a great forward movement. As each person, it's like a giant puzzle, and each person has their unique gift and place in creating this peace. And so if you do each day stand in your peace and with the intention of being in peace and extending that, then that quite naturally flows from you. Do you understand?
Yes.
And so as each person does this, the pieces begin to fall into place to create a greater movement.
I find it to be a discipline to be in peace sometimes, especially around my kids, because they kind of rev me up sometimes.
And this is a good example of what the world appears to look like. Chaotic and pushing and certainly not following an orderly direction, right. Just as children do not seem orderly. And right. The earth is very much like that with the consciousness that is here, that child, we would say, not they have not matured into the awareness, into the open consciousness that allows peace. Yet they are children, so they are learning, and children always pay attention. Even if they appear not to pay attention, they absorb what is occurring around them. Wow. And so as you move on in your life, and each one does, with the intention of extending peace, and you know when you are truly standing in peace and when you are not. When you are not standing in peace, you may feel irritable, impatient, questioning why this or that is occurring.
Right.
And it's not going my way, and I want it to go this way.
Right.
And my way is correct, and why can't they understand this, right?
Mm.
And this is a good example of what it is like with moving forward on the planet with peace.
So I have another question about when Common wrote a song and Oprah did the movie MLK. Were you able to have your presence be part of that creation? It seems like or do you have any messages for them that you'd like to share? Maybe that's the question. They're very closely
It did
connected.
indeed. It embodied the intention. It embodied my own uh, gifts. It embodied the intention and spirit of that. Yet always understand it is never one individual. And so even though they specifically would concentrate on my intention and embodiment of my spirit intention, there's always many that join and come together. Those that are here and on the earth that have the same desire to see peace, to see unity, all join to create these projects together. It's always a joint effort. Just never one. It is all.
I have to tell you a funny story. In third grade, my school was integrated, and we all held hands every morning, and we sang "We Shall Overcome," the whole school.
And we heard that. It was heard. It was heard. And we want this to be a message that gets around the planet. And so it starts with you. It starts with each one. And it's like the pebble when you drop it in the pond, you see the ripples go to the shore line, and they don't stop there. They continue on beyond where you can actually see them into spirit, and that those ripples go all around the earth and then return to you. And so as you give peace, you receive more, and the ability to extend more peace as well. And so in my life and work, as I did this with that intention, I had a greater ability to do it. Right? I did not start with that ability. I started with the desire that I could make a difference. And at that time, the focus was on the color of skin. And now it is not, we've moved beyond that. Thank Source for this. And thank each one who has made this transition occur. All that have been involved.
Wonderful.
And now it is getting to the core of not only not looking at a person's skin or appearance, but getting to the core of what each individual, who they are beyond their personality, beyond their consciousness level, beyond their opinions, beyond their perhaps stages in growth, to who they truly are, and that is that they are, each one, a child of God, a true, pure creation of Source, and a God in their own right, as they are made from Source, each one. And so to begin to recognize when you look into another human being's eyes, first look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am an extension of God, of Source, of Creator, of all that is. Whatever word resonates with you, that connects all things, that is the creation of all things. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am that. I am that. I was created to be that. I am that. I am an extension of that. And so when you look at it, and then look at it, when you look at another human being, look in their eyes and recognize for a moment that they are also a creation of Source, a creation of all that is, that they themselves embody the ability to create all that is. And so we begin to see each other as Source, God, great mystery, higher power, however it is named by each individual. We begin to see each other in our true light, who we truly are. That was the part of learning that skin color did not make one bit of difference. Now we are learning that personality does not make a difference. Consciousness level does not make a difference. What we perceive from another person in truth does not make a difference. It is the soul that was created by God, by Source. That is what we want to see. Wow. In ourselves and each other. Then we are truly joined. Because the thread of life and that creative energy runs through each heart, each soul. And each one is that piece of the puzzle. And we need the whole puzzle. We need the whole puzzle. We need the pieces to be fitting where they belong, where they go, where they were made to be, to create that unity and peace on the earth. And the earth is moving in that direction, despite how it may appear.
Thank you so much for coming today. I'm so grateful.
The message that is important, not the messenger.
Yeah, it's.
Although we would say that we on this side are greatly blessed and touched by honoring the Day of Unity.
Yes.
The Martin Luther King Day is not does not stand for me as an individual. It stands for all that are striving and choosing unity and peace. And we celebrate that on this side as well. And so as you are celebrating, and each one is celebrating, we know that we are celebrating also. We join in the celebration. Yes. And increase the joy of unity and peace, that those ripples may touch each one and continue on to those who are still resisting. And those who resist are not resisting peace, it is that they are resisting their own beings. That is the truth of the matter. They are resisting their own truth. Mm-hmm. And so they cannot join in what is real and true. If they could, we could have heaven here. When we pass, we step into what is already and always perfect. And the earth is always and already perfect as well. It is just that everybody is running around like the children, not recognizing it, and going about their own way, and with the belief that whatever they are doing in the moment is real and true, and that they are right. The more that you can trust your own place in this creation, the more that you can trust that things are moving along as they should be, unfolding in a perfect, ideal way, whether it appears so or not. We want to move past appearances in any form. It is always the content that matters. It is not the form that whatever form it is not. We want to move beyond form in every way and always get to the content. Does that make sense? Do you understand the difference between a form, what something appears to be, versus what it truly is?
So the next level of unity, once we've gotten beyond skin color and race and religion and
physical
dogma and what kind of cars we have or how we classify each other by wealth or non-wealth. Once we get beyond that, those things, and we see each being as a key,
as source,
as an embodiment of source.
Indeed, yes, an embodiment of creation.
And so then we don't put other people on pedestals like we do.
We don't put them on pedestals, and we do not put them below us. We are all equals. We are equal, truly equal in every way possible.
Wow.
And anything that is an idea or a thought or appears to be that one is above another or below another is always a false idea.
Yes.
And so all the chaos and disharmony is due to looking at these false ideas and believing they are real.
Yes.
And so it is a process of each one coming to their own peace and understanding of this, and then extending it to the world. When you can look at another human being, look in their eyes and know that they are your equal and you are theirs as well, then you have created a peace, an environment of peace.
Mm. Do you want to share anything about what it was like to be in spirit again, or like closer to God? Or you don't have to. I was just curious.
It is when it is like coming home. It is a breath of fresh air to step into what is always and already perfect. It is on the earth we believe that things are not right. We see things that we don't like. We see the disharmony.
Right.
Heaven only sees harmony.
Mm.
Heaven does not recognize disharmony in any way, as it is not real. It is false beliefs of human beings. And what are these bells going? We should have asked her to put that away.
Oh yeah, her phone.
Yeah. Looks quite different than the phones that I have seen.
There's been some technology changes on the planet.
The cars are incredibly, I would love to have driven one today. And so I may ask her to let me drive around in her, although she has a new truck and may not like that, me driving her new truck. But I will assure her that I know how to drive and will not crash it. But I will ask her to let me drive and ride the horse and walk about and speak to those who are open to unity and peace. And so do you have any questions for me and for us, as there are many here? So it is never me alone or any one individual.
So if someone struggles with, when you said shift into peace, I got that maybe I should ask for a little advice on a daily practice or daily attention that could help someone. I got that when you do shift into peace, that you can change the world. And I got, what could help someone shift closer into that space of peace in their own being?
And so this is a practice, and as you said, it is a discipline. And so it would be a practice of waking up in the morning and just determining that day, what is my intention today? How do I feel today? Do I feel angry? Do I feel out of sorts? Am I sad? Am I not at peace in myself? And if not, then there is the need for self-healing. First, you cannot go from a disrupted, inharmonious self to a peaceful, to extending peace. You will extend what you feel. And
Right.
so if you're feeling yourself chaotic, that's what you will extend. And so the first step is always when waking in the morning, to do a self-examination, to do a self-evaluation. How am I feeling today? And so allow a few moments with self and address whatever is in the mind or heart. And we like to say to practice releasing that as a gift, put it in a gift box and give it to Source.
Nice.
As Source always returns that. It is truly a gift box that they are giving, because Holy Spirit and Source and Heaven and all of the universe and all of creativity takes that box and gives it back to you with a true gift to you in it as well.
Mm.
And so just take that moment to give the gift of your own feelings. And then when they feel clear and at least willing, if they do not at that moment feel clear or ready to release that inharmony, then when the willingness, at least the willingness is the key.
Right.
You do not have to already be completely clear. Otherwise, this would be a very long journey.
Right.
And so it is when they begin to feel that willingness to release it, then they can make the choice. I choose today to act from my space of peace that I know is there, that I trust is there. It must be there because I am a creation of all that is. I am a creation of heaven. I'm a creation of source, and source is peace. And so I know that must be there, and I will believe and trust that it is, and I will be willing to release all things that are not consistent with that. And so I choose today to extend the peace that I know that is there. And then practice once again being present in the moment, being present in your life. Show up in your own life. Whatever is occurring in your own life at each moment, that you have the intention to show up and be present. You cannot extend peace or unity if you are disengaged or not present. Then you are sending diffused energies. What happens then? That's what occurs. The energy becomes diffused and then becomes confused as it goes in all different directions, as you are not present and focused. The energy cannot be directed. And so it takes you being present and directing that intention and energy. And it may just be the simple wish that there be peace for the other. It can be just the simple desire that the other, whatever it is, situation, person, circumstance, that it be held in the arms of peace.
Nice. Thank you.
It is not that they have to have the power to make it peaceful. You do not have to have the power to make it peaceful. It is the intention to hold it in peace and then allow that energy to flow to it. That is your job. That is each one's job. It's not to decide what the peace will look like.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. And it was my pleasure. And we would enjoy talking with thee for an eternity. So there's much to speak of.
Yes.
And the main message that we would like to have heard is that we are moving beyond physical appearances. That has been occurring now for quite a while. And we would like to go further. It is time to go further and begin to recognize the soul, the creation that stands before you, and that you are yourself, and that each one is who they truly are and who you truly are. We are going to move beyond forms in any way that they manifest.
Nice.
That is what we would like each one to hear and think over.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
And all send much love, everyone here, the whole universe, we would say, beyond what we can even, beyond count and beyond measure. Love you and love each one.
Thank you so
and
much.
Are always sending this indeed, and blessings. And we are always with each one and always willing to assist. And Godspeed.
Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that special edition of the Erica Glessing Show. I really wanted to give my show over to the messages of the late Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm very passionate about his messages of peace and being in peace. It also really moved me that he really talked about every single human being as being a light and a child of God. I love that. I actually turned the interview into an ebook. So it's called I Have a New Dream. And you can find that online where Kindle and places like that. So go ahead and search that out if you like. And I'm just grateful that Deanna Swaim was able to connect with the spirit of the late Dr. Martin Luther King. And I have a feeling he's going to be back giving more messages to us. I have a feeling he'd like to help us on this planet right now, just like he did when he was alive and in a body. So thank you so much for listening to the show.